It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
Thank you so much for checking out the podcast. Today means a lot to me to have you here. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have fun today. Today's going to be sentimental, sort of. Today's is either going to come across as preachy, dumb, overly sentimental, short-sighted, not bad take. It's going to come across as all these things, but I want to talk about it because it was on my heart, on my chest yesterday, especially, and through today. And I just want to talk about it. I think it's important to me. I do want to address something real quick. I've been teasing big news. Roberta had messaged me asking if the Jeep was the big news. No, there is big news coming. I just can't talk about it yet, which is, I hate when people do that. I thought it was going to be, when I first mentioned it, it was going to be the next episode. And then some stuff happened and it got pushed back. So it is now a little longer. It's either going to be on Friday's episode or Monday's episode. I'm hoping for Fridays, but I could see it being on Mondays, or it could be on a special episode over the weekend. We'll see. Maybe it'll be, we'll see. Probably Mondays. Anyhow, that's coming. So I'm sorry for the long tease on that for the people who have messaged. I think Kelly messaged just a few minutes ago asking about it. So the news is coming, and I hope it's exciting. Okay, what do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about this. I'm bringing it over. This right here. I'm showing it on YouTube. If you watch the video on Spotify, I'm holding a basketball right now in my hands. It is a old Hoop Fest ball. I do not remember what year of Hoop Fest this is from, but it's an old Hoop Fest ball. These were yellow and gray basketballs. And this right here is something I will personally never throw away. And it is one of my most cherished possessions in the world. And there's a lot to that with this basketball. I love basketball. I love basketball in general, but this is not about just owning a basketball. I have and will and do own plenty of basketballs. I've gone through a lot, but this one means a lot to me. And there's a reason I'm going to talk about this ball. This ball made me think about this last night when I went out. Our Monday night basketball game, we normally play recording this on Tuesday. Our Monday night basketball game got canceled. So I just went to a random court and just shot baskets for a while. Now, this ball is old. It's deflated. The one I'm holding is deflated. I can squeeze it and you can see that it's deflated. And if you fill it with air, it only lasts at this point about 10 minutes before the air starts to leak out of it. And that's because this ball has seen hundreds and hundreds of hours of basketball with this basketball. We'll talk about why this one in particular is important, but I went out and shot with it last night. You play with it, it gets flat. I take a pump, I pump it up, and I will shoot with this. I'll try to shoot with this every single year as long as I can shoot baskets. I'm going to try to shoot with this every year until it is dust. I love it. That ball is the ball we used in 2016 or 2017 when Barrett got one of the Hoop Fest basketballs from, at the time, the director of Hoop Fest, Matt Santangelo, former Gonzaga Bulldog, legendary Gonzaga Bulldog. And he brought it down and it became the official basketball of our Peaceful Valley 5-on-5 Tuesdays and Thursdays run that I've talked about too much. And so this ball became the game ball. And so we played with this ball, like I said, every Tuesday and Thursday. We'd start when the weather got nice in Spokane. If we could play late March, normally April into May, we would start playing with it. And then we would try to play until November. Like, truly. Hang on just a second. Oh, there we go. I'm getting text messages. Sorry. We try to play till November. A lot of times till October, always through September. And this ball would play every Tuesday and Thursday. And the amount of people that have touched that basketball are insane. And the level of play of people that have touched that basketball is insane to me. Guys who are still playing in the NBA. Kelly Olynyk played with this ball, all the way down to guys who came down. I wish I remember the guy's name. I, for some reason, always wanted to say it was Gary. It was a radio listener who showed up one day. He's probably a guy in his mid 60s, and he played one day with us. He was not good at basketball. I don't know if he'd ever played basketball before, but he had heard me talking about it, and he wanted to come meet everyone. So he came down and played, and it might have been the only time he played basketball. He played with that ball. So in terms of the spectrum of humans that have touched that ball, I'm going to pick it back up again. I love it so much. This ball, the amount of people, the amount of story, the amount of just this ball has been touched by people who have more money than they know what to do with, people who are living moment by moment, people who have gone through crazy relationship stuff, people who have gone through the most steady relationship, people who had their best day ever touch this ball, people who are going through their worst day ever touch this ball. This ball is jam-packed with story. If you know me, my buddy Andy and I always say, he says it because he's nice to me, I wanted to get a tattoo for the longest time that said, it's all about the story. It's all about the story. It was a video game thing for us. We love the college football, Madden video game franchise, but we never really wanted to cheese at it and just get as many yards. It was about the story of the players to us and the people we recruited and the story that they were going to tell. Anyways, it's silly, but that was just kind of a life thing for me. It's all about the story, and that ball has a lot of those stories in it. Now, this is why I know I'm overly sensitive about it, and I know I've gone too far with just a meaningless little basketball. Last night I had the ball out. I was feeling kind of sentimental, missing a lot of my friends that I made with playing with this basketball, friends that I hope I don't talk to regularly, but I hope they're people that I will stay in touch with to a certain level or not for the rest of my life. And so I text two of them. I text Darnay and Barrett, and I sent them a picture of the basketball, and I just sent them a picture of the ball. I should have just sent the ball. I had like my shoes in it, and Barrett's first comment was like, "Oh, your shoelaces are mismatching." Yeah, I don't love that. The John Morants that I got, they have mismatching shoelaces. I didn't realize that at the time. Sorry. And then Darnay said something, and I realized real quickly how I am overly sentimental about things, because I'm sending a picture to two guys who are so important to me with this basketball, and they were like, "Cool, dude, you're at a basketball court with a basketball, and you sent us a weird, wannabe cool Instagram picture of the ball on the ground in your shoes." And that wasn't what it was meant to be. It was meant to be like, do you guys remember that we had a summer or two of maximum friendship all because of this basketball? Do you remember that? And it didn't hit. But for me, that it means a lot. And one of the things that when I play with this ball and when I think about it, and all the memories that I made and the friendships that I've had, and a guy who I play with every Monday night, Mike, who's in Lexington now, was in Spokane with me, hung out with him this weekend, like a friend I made because of that very basketball. If that basketball doesn't get bounced around at Peaceful Valley, Mike and I are not friends right now. He's not in Lexington. I don't have that Lexington friend here. Or that Spokane friend here in Lexington. I'm not talking to Marcus. I don't know Wes. I don't know Alex. I didn't get to build a relationship with Josh Heitfeld. It's just all these things, right? Matt Brunell, a guy who I loved at Eastern Washington, played basketball there. I don't get to spend multiple summers playing pickup with him on an outdoor court. I don't get in a fight with that kid who I don't remember his name. I thought I wouldn't forget it. I got to get like the leading GSL scorer. I had no idea who he was. He had no idea who I was. He came down and shot about 13 shots in a row, and I ran him off the court because I'm a jerk sometimes. I don't get those stories. I don't get those memories without that ball. It means a lot to me. I went through really good times in my life with that basketball. I went through really bad times. And the thing I wanted to talk about here, as I've gone long on just that ball, was that feeling. I have gone through in my life very high highs. I have had the opportunity to go through some really cool stuff, have some really cool things happen in my life. There was a day that I know, one of the day I got the ESPN radio job with Dan Dickow, and we knew we were going to be doing a sports show together, which I was very excited about. It was before we had our normal Peaceful Valley run, but I went to Peaceful Valley and I shot baskets, and there was just some random people there, and I played a little bit of 21 or something with them. And I remember just being as high as you can get, the highest of highs in that moment. And basketball was where I went to celebrate this awesome accomplishment that I was super excited about. And then I know I went through some very low lows, and I've been through some very difficult things in life and very sad times. And yeah, I leaned on friends, and yeah, I would lean on family and stuff, but I know I'd also go down in the therapeutic activity of playing basketball. whether it was against people and kind of letting out some aggression or just doing something that I knew I was good at when things around me felt like they were falling apart. It was there, the camaraderie, and then just being out and just doing something that takes my mind off of stuff. I love it. Okay. So where am I going with that? Well, a couple different places. Number one, if you have kids, man, I cannot explain the importance of not sports. I cannot explain the importance of, as I'm holding it for the people watching video, of a basketball. More than anything else, I love sports. I love them. I love playing sports. I've played pretty much every sport, and every time I play a sport, I get done and I'm like, that's so much fun. I love playing sports. Doesn't matter how big of a sport, how small of a sport. Football, baseball, basketball, soccer, down to ping pong, pickleball, tennis, golf to an extent. Johnny, golf to an extent. I love playing sports. And so I played sports growing up. I played a lot of sports growing up. We played baseball as kids. We played soccer as kids. Flag football was recreational, but we played, a lot of that. And it was great. It was super fun. But this is the one, everybody. If your kid is a sports person, you are doing them a disservice if you don't give them a chance to pick one of these basketballs up and learn to play it. Because this is the one that lasts. And this is coming from a 44-year-old who's done the research, has lived the research. This is the one that lasts. I know a lot of guys who played baseball growing up. And I grew up in Venezuela where baseball was king. And a lot of the Venezuelan guys I know, I still follow them and I see their stories on social media and Instagram or on Facebook, their posts. And you know what? These guys were great at baseball and they played a lot of baseball as kids. They dedicated a lot of time to it. You know what they're doing now? They're playing basketball. I know a lot of kids who played soccer. Now, there is a way to play a smaller version of soccer, especially in Venezuela, futbolito. You get played on on a basketball court with a smaller ball and smaller goals. And it's like it's also one of my favorite games I've ever played in my life, futbolito. I love it. I was so bad at it, but it was so fun. But you transition. The reason this is the one, and this is the one to get into, and it's the one I pray as a parent, if I can pass one thing on to my kids, it is a love for this. A love for this. I don't need them to play it at a collegiate level. Look, if Woods wants to make the NBA and make millions of dollars, I'm cool with that. But I don't need them to play this at a high level. I just need them to like this, because this is the one that can provide so much for you in just your life. Eventually, all of it's just weird now. I feel bad because I know I've got buddies back home in Spokane who put all their kids through all the stuff and all the sports, and we talk about it, and it's great. There's so much we put that people now put their kids through, and there's the rigmarole of year-round basketball, year-round baseball, year-round football, year-round whatever. They're always playing sports. There's so much invested into that stuff that I feel like we lose sight of what this actually can mean to you. Because all these organized sports when you're a kid, all these organized sports when you're in high school, and if you get lucky, you get to play into college, and that's all great. But when you get out of college and you've done all this baseball and basketball and football, and you've done all these things organized through school, in a video game world, this is end game where I'm at now. And sure, the main story was really fun through college. The end game is better. When you start playing basketball after you're done with it competitively, this is when it matters. This is when sports are the best. And I know I talked to a lot of people who are like, well, my heyday was when I was a kid and I played on a traveling team, and that was the heyday of my sports. You missed out. You peaked and you missed out, because when you're playing sports in your 20s and 30s and you have access to this and you go out and you're playing competitively or whatever level you're playing at, and you get out there and make friends and meet people and do this as an activity on your day-to-day life. I mean, if Chad Goldsmith is listening right now, he's telling me to preach, because he's I think in his late 40s into his early 50s, and that man plays basketball still almost every day if he could. And the value you get after these the high school and stuff, is way more. It's way better. It's way better. So I want my kids to fall in love with this because that's what I did. I fell in love with this. I played competitive. It was really fun. And then as soon as I got done with school, I kept playing this. And why basketball is the best is because you can go do it at a menial level. You do not need baseball. You need a lot of dudes and like an umpire and a lot of gear. There's just a lot you need for baseball, okay, to continue to play it at a high level. So if you go all in on baseball as a kid, I truly believe if you go all in on baseball, it's the worst one to go all in on because you're not going to get older. I played, I was like 26. I got asked to play in a competitive, I was doing a sports radio show, and this kid, James, asked me to play in a competitive hardball league. And I did, and I was terrible at it. And they all were decent at it, but they all, like, I remember like the next year they're like, yeah, we're not going to do it again. It's just not, it doesn't work. And a couple of them went and just played basketball because it's like, well, we can go pick up a basketball and play. Baseball, you can play it, and it's just the disservice that it does for you outside of it. And I know the story. I know I got my buddies back home yelling at me. Yeah, but the memories you're making as a kid, you'll never forget those days. I hate to say it, but you will. You will. And the memories you make as an adult playing sports are actually so much better. It's like, you don't have to go back and be like, remember when we were 10? No, I don't. But do you remember when we were 33, Andy, and we were in that 3-on-3 league that you made, and it was freaking awesome, and we almost got in a fight with those dudes? Remember, Andy, when we were in our 40s, and we were in that 3-on-3 league, and that kid shot a full court shot at the buzzer, and you fouled him, and because you fouled him, he got to shoot free throws to tie the game and force overtime, and we lost? Remember that? That's the stuff. That's the stuff. Basketball, you can play forever. 2-on-2, 1-on-1. 3 guys, you can do 21. Obviously, you can play 5-on-5. There's leagues to play competitive when you're older. There is just so much available from basketball. It provides the most to people. Just provides the most to you as you get older. It's the best. It's the absolute best. I love this ball, guys. I love this ball. I told you this is going to be going nowhere and sentimental. Here is my hope. And here's my hope and my dream when I play with this, and I have 3 kids. I've got a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And I know some of them are going to play sports. I know sports are going to happen. I love sports. I can see it in a couple of my kids' eyes. They enjoy it. Will they be great at it? I don't know. Will they love it? I hope so. I really hope so. But one of the things I see with a lot of kids anymore, and you see it, I just saw like some Barstool Sports stuff. They were talking about youth sports in America. I really hope we are still letting kids fall in love with this. I hope we're letting kids fall in love with sports still, because it doesn't feel like we are. It doesn't feel like we are. It feels like we are controlling and that we are forcing kids to fall in love with stuff. And then, yes, I don't think these kids on these traveling hockey teams, I don't think these kids on these traveling baseball teams hate it. I think they love it. I think they love the sport they're playing. These traveling basketball teams that go all over the United States, the 50,000 basketball teams that are in Vegas for that big tournament, I think they love it. But I do feel like there is a big part of it that is we are forcing kids to fall in love with it. And I hope that we are still producing young kids who are forced to find it. Because that is one of the things that led to where I am today with this basketball, was that when I was 10 years old, my mom and dad weren't saying, okay, this weekend we've got 3 games. You got 3 games. You got a game. You got practice Tuesday. It's the middle of summer. You got practice Tuesday, Thursday, and you've got a game on Saturday and Sunday. It sounds great as a kid, right? That sounds awesome. I would love it. I know, though, that the reason I'm 44 and I'm craving Monday night basketball is because in those summers when I didn't have that and I wasn't being provided with every opportunity to play in a traveling or a game or like a year-round season, I had to go find it. And I had to go seek it out. I knew where my basketball was, and it was like, I got to go find a game. Mom and dad aren't just going to give me everything. I'm going to have to build this on my own. I'm going to have to find this on my own. I got to build the love for this a little bit. And that's where I think the thing I worry about anymore today is that we aren't letting kids fall in love with the stuff themselves. We provide them with all of it. We give them everything. Maybe it's because we grew up in a generation where we didn't get a whole lot. So we're like, maybe we can do what our parents did and just give our kids everything and every opportunity. We're going to give them every opportunity. And I understand that as a parent, like how cool that is to be able to give your kids so much opportunity. But I think that's not the greatest ultimate strategy, because I do think that you could just be creating a spoiled brat, and that you do need them on a Saturday to hear the words, "We don't have any plans today. There's no plans today." And they're like, "Why? I love sports. I want to go play sports." Okay, go play sports. And they're like, "Well, wait, well, how?" And you go play. I don't know. There's a phone. You know your buddy's numbers. You know where, like, grab your bike, go play, figure it out. But Dad, you've given me this opportunity to play at every sport all the time, 24/7. I'm in sports. What gives? Go fall in love with it, dude. Here's your ball. Here's your bike. I'll put a basket on the back of your bike, dog, and I'll put this in the back. Go fall in love with it, man. Go fall in love with it. Trust me, we'll be there. We'll get competitive. We'll get you in some stuff that you get to compete in, my man. But like, you gotta find your own love for this thing, and you got to nurture that thing. And I'm not going to be able to be there for you. So that's my concern, right? Overstepping my bounds. Parents yelling at me right now. That's not this ball, baby. Where's yours? I would ask that also. I do want to ask that. There, I can already hear, and I know. I don't think it's going to be Andy. Andy, if it's you come at me. I want to call. I want to argue with you about stuff. And Andy would have a ball. So he would win this argument because he still plays. He actually just won a 3-on-3 league with Marcus because they had Corey on their team. And Corey, I guarantee you, carried them to this. But Marcus just sent a picture of them winning it all. Andy didn't tell me they won it all. Marcus did. Thank you, Andy, for staying in touch. But I do hear like a lot of people that really support youth sports. And I want to say, well, where's your ball? Where's your ball? Where's the one you play with right now? Okay. You don't have one? Like, get out of here. Don't preach at me sports. Value of sports. Don't preach at me if you don't have a ball. Because if you don't have a ball, I'm really not going to take you for this value of like, well, I'm a big sports guy, getting my kids in sports. Are you still playing? No, you're not? Great, cool. That's awesome. Yeah, you've kind of lost all your momentum there in this argument. Okay, that's it. This ball, I love it. I freaking love it. Anyone who touched this ball, if you are listening to this and you touch this basketball, know that I love you dearly. You are a huge part of my life. And even though Barrett and Darnay hate this ball and they could care less about basketball, you matter to me because of this ball. This ball means everything to me. All right, there you go. Have a good one.